Welcome to Pennsylvania in Focus. I'm Christina Langell. With me today is our Pennsylvania and Northeast Regional Editor, Kristen Smith. And this week we had some pretty big excitement. We had the President, Donald Trump, come to Pittsburgh to announce some investments in AI infrastructure. Kristen, let's talk about it.
Yeah, where do we begin? So in Pennsylvania, we're really being pushed to the forefront of this AI race because we have a very rich supply of energy. We have natural gas, we have nuclear plants, we have some coal plants. There's a lot of energy here. And that's important because we need a lot of energy to power data centers. And I mean, they require, in some cases, as much energy as a small city. At the same time, we're having growing energy demand, not just from AI, but from the electrification of, transportation, of construction, of our world, really, as we try to move closer to these climate action goals. And so the role that suddenly Pennsylvania is playing from being a real grounder of keeping electricity prices low through its natural gas production, we've now shifted into, this would be the easiest way to get AI up and running because we don't have to pay as much to get the energy to the AI data centers. There's also this whole infrastructure around it. So not only do you have the construction related, but you have keeping online fossil fuel plants, you have building more, you have a reinvestment in nuclear power, which is widely seen as preferable even to natural gas because it has fewer carbon emissions and it's really reliable, which means it's on 24/7. And so this was an opportunity for Trump to come and really tie these things together. A big part of his administration is drill, baby, drill, and really investing and boosting our fossil fuels because he wants to, he doesn't want to be reliant on energy and from other countries. What that means, though, is that he's de-emphasizing solar and wind power and other renewable energy sources that were more prioritized under the Biden administration.
So Governor Josh Shapiro, he has talked about being an all of the above energy state. As a Democrat, of course, he's got a lot of constituents who are very concerned about clean energy. That's, the Biden efforts in that regard, I think, people are concerned about what's being rolled back in the current administration. So how exactly does that fit in with Shapiro and with Democrats and Republicans working together in Pennsylvania?
It's a good question because Shapiro was arguably the most prominent Democrat at the summit. And again, he's always positioned himself as a moderate who really works with both sides of the aisle. And he's been very strong in boosting the economic sector through energy investment. He's a favorite of the unions, and he's, like you said, always all of the above. He is very on board with using Pennsylvania energy resources to power AI. There's this more wide set concept that we need to take control of the AI revolution so that our other global competitors like China do not. And it seems that Shapiro is loosely on board with this. He really wants to grow our economy. And so he sees this as a means to an end. Meanwhile, Senator McCormick, who is obviously a Republican, he's more aligned with Trump on this because this will not only boost fossil fuels and energy production in Pennsylvania, but also move us closer to that, championing over that AI race. And the thing is that there's concerns. Not only have we rolled back goals with the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, and those climate action grants that were in there, but there is large concerns, even from communities where these data centers may be going, about the impact on their communities, because I think that conversation gets lost a lot is that you have these regions where these data centers are going. And sure, there's going to create a lot of jobs and a lot of economic investment, which Pennsylvania could really use. And it would draw more high quality jobs and therefore younger workers who might stay here and help with our demographic crisis. There are a lot of upsides to it, but there's a lot of unanswered questions because we're going into uncharted territory. 3 to 4 to 5 years ago, the power grid wasn't conceptualizing data centers or how they would impact our already strained supply. And so at this summit, they didn't focus too much on that element, except to say that this is the way to do it, is to unleash Pennsylvania's energy.
So in addition to political figures like Donald Trump and Governor Shapiro, we did also see AI leaders and technology leaders at the summit. What did they have to say about Pennsylvania specifically and where AI is headed?
We had a lot of executives from companies like Amazon, other energy development companies. We had investment firms. And I think one of the representatives from Amazon is the one who said that this is really a tripartisan effort where you see Republicans, Democrats, and the business sector coming together and really in alignment and agreement with how to move forward in Pennsylvania as far as AI development and technology development, really. They also made a point to explain, to kind of explain away the criticism about data centers that's proliferating, and that, sure, there's a lot of construction jobs that are involved in it, but once you get the data center up and running, you have a relatively small staff of people running it. Their argument is these data centers will bring in bigger companies, more energy investment. We already have a $20 billion data center planned by Amazon that will be getting power from a nuclear plant. Microsoft is going to be investing in a data center using power from 3 Mile Island, which is a nuclear plant as well that, I'm sure everyone in Pennsylvania is familiar with. So they were really trying to show that this isn't just, an effort to build data centers and kind of let Amazon and Google and everyone else take over the state, but to really bring all these sectors together. Again, the criticism about the impact of data centers was largely absent from the conversation, probably to be accepted or expected. But I expect that we will see that concern about sustainability and environmental impact continue to get louder and larger as we move forward down this path of AI.
I noticed that also criticism of AI itself and the technology and how it will be used was pretty limited, though Josh Shapiro did say at one point, hey, this is going to be disruptive as new technologies are, and therefore we will have to legislate around that disruption, which I think is putting it mildly with what we are expecting from this AI revolution that we're in the midst of. There were also quite a bit of protests happening on the campus, right? This occurred at Carnegie Mellon University, and so there was some backlash from the community there. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. There was certainly lawmakers, U.S. Representative Summer Lee, whose district is in that area. She said that she was talking with protesters at the university, and they are all by and large more concerned about the changes in the social safety net through Medicaid and SNAP. That's where their fears are. They're not really focused on this big energy summit and worrying about data centers and whether Amazon is going to come and bring new jobs to the state. That's just not their focus. Representative Elizabeth Fiedler, who is the chair of the House Environmental Resources and Energy Committee, she was very critical of this summit and its plans. She said that investing in AI in this way will actually raise energy prices because of the huge demand it puts on the system. We're already seeing utility bills up 10%. And her argument is that what Trump and these tech companies are doing will make that higher. There's also polling out there that suggests that the majority of voters are against AI data centers because of, like we said before, the impact on their specific communities and the questions around how many jobs will really be brought as a result of this investment.
Well, we will certainly continue to follow both how communities are responding and what new investments, what comes. $92 billion is a lot of money. So.
Yes, it is. And there is no doubt that if it's going the way that it was advertised at this summit, that Pennsylvania would benefit more than it would lose. But again, there's a lot more to it. What is the impact on our environment and the people who live in those communities? We've done this kind of development before with the natural gas revolution. There has been some side effects of that. So as we move towards AI and this next generation of Pennsylvania's role in energy production and power reliability, I think there's always going to be an eye towards what's the downside.
Well, there's certainly a lot to keep our eye on, and we will be keeping track of it at thecentersquare.com/Pennsylvania.